This lesson is going to teach you a drum fill, but there's three main things I really want you to take away from this. I want you to know that you need to apply your rudiments to the drum kit. I want you to know that it's okay to split flams across sound sources. And I want you to know that it's okay to play closed and open flams. Depending on what you play, it really affects how it sounds. Real quick before we start into the lesson, I have to apologize. For what, you might ask? Well, I haven't uploaded a lesson here in over a month, and that's really abnormal for me. We had the holidays, and that keeps everybody busy, and then had a bunch of people getting sick, which wasn't so great, but we got through it. And then we had remodels on the studio, as well as a ton of updates to the members area and the drum lessons on my websites, a lot of which my students don't even know about yet. So be sure and hang out, check back in. I'm going to be announcing what those updates are here pretty soon. One of the things I love about this online community is the discussions we have. So I've got a question for you. What's your favorite thing about learning the drums online? Maybe you just watch here on YouTube. Maybe you actually subscribe to a drum lesson site. What's your favorite thing about learning the drums online? Put it in the comment section below. Let's start a little conversation about it. And now let's get to the lesson. I played a bunch of stuff up front, but let me demonstrate exactly what fill we're going to be looking at. Before we dive into the technical side of things, I just want to re-emphasize. Learn the fill. Yeah, that's great. It's good to get a lick under your belt. But more importantly, understand the concept. If we want to take a flam, put it across the drum kit, we want to apply a rudiment to the drum kit, and we want to look at closed versus open flams and what those do to our playing. Okay, so the basis of this fill is a flam accent or a variation thereof. So a typical flam accent is going to be a right-handed flam, if you're starting on the right, accent in that, right-handed, then a left and a right unaccented, then accent on a left-handed flam, unaccented right, left. That's a basic flam accent. So it would sound like this. Now this is a little variation of that. What I want to do is, I refer to it as a same hand flam accent. If it looks more like another rudiment to you, then you can call it that, that's fine. But I refer to it whenever I'm playing as a same handed flam accent. So instead I'm going to start on my left hand, I'm going to do a flam accent. We're going to go left, right, left. But I'm not going to switch hands. So a flam accent's a hand to hand rudiment. This is going to stay on the same hand. So now we have this sticking. The sound is the same, but we're able to orchestrate it around the kit a little bit differently. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to accent that second note, okay, instead of just the first note. Now let's get to this. This whole fill, it's based around 16th notes. I like taking something new and putting it with something old. Most of you, even if you're a beginner, can play 16th notes. It's just 16 notes to a 4/4 measure or 4 notes to each beat. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. That's my old stuff. I know that, okay? And I want to take something new and combine it with that. So we're going to take this flam accent, which lays a little bit differently over that because it's a 3-note rhythm over a 4-note subdivision, okay? So I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply it around the kit. We're going to play 4 flam accents, same hand flam accents, and then we'll play partial of a 5th one. I'm going to start on the toms, and I'm going to play my first left-handed flam here. So it's going to go flam, and then I'm coming to the snare drum with my right hand to accent, and then a left hand here. After you get that down, the rest are very similar in how we orchestrate them around the kit. We're just using different drums. So after that, I'm going to play that same-handed flam accent, but I'm going to start with the flam or the grace note here on the floor tom, accent here on the snare drum, and the second note is going to be on my hi-hat, but I'm going to put a kick drum with it. Now it's dealer's choice whenever it comes to opening the hi-hat or closing the hi-hat with that kick drum. You can put it on a crash cymbal. Again, I don't want you to get hung up on learning a lick from Steven. I want you to understand the concept of putting a rudiment with a flam across the drum kit, and then we're going to get to open versus closed flams. So the next flam accent I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the high tom and play the same sticking. It's going to go a left-handed flam with the accent on the snare drum. Left hand, our grace note, is going to be on the high tom. Then I'm coming here to my hi-hat with my right hand with a kick drum, and then a left on the snare. I'm going to do that twice. So I lied to you a little bit up front. This is actually going to be made up of 5 same hand flam accents, not 4, and then a partial 6th one. On the 5th flam accent, we're going to start on the snare drum. So we're going to do the whole flam on the snare drum, left-handed flam, then that accented note on the hi-hat with your kick drum, unaccented note on the snare. We're going to end with a half of a flam accent. So we're going to hit that. We're going to go back to splitting it between the floor tom and the snare drum. We're going to hit a flam, and then we're going to crash. Because of where we're putting the kick drum and the hi-hat, we're putting that on the 2nd note of that flam accent, it naturally resolves itself. So far we got the feel, we got the concept of taking a rudiment with a flam, putting that on the drum kit, splitting those flams up. The next thing I want to do is this bigger concept of opening and closing your flams, because really a same-handed flam accent, if we open it enough, becomes a herta. I'll demonstrate it. To me, that's interesting because we can take that flam and we can open it or we can close it up. So we can play really tight flams or we can play really open, sloppy, what they would consider sloppy flams. But I love them because it gives that kind of off-kilter feeling. So I'll kind of demonstrate, play it both ways. Learn this fill, have fun with it, and come up with your own variations. Send them to me if you get them. Video them and send them to me. You can send that at help@stevensdrumshed.com. I'd love to hear from you or see them, or you can just post them in the comments here. But I also want you to get the big takeaways from this, and that is apply your rudiments to the drum kit. Split flams across voices. Put some kick in there. And then I also want you to take this and look at opening versus closing your flams and how that affects the sound and what we're doing. All right? Hopefully you had fun. If you did, push the like button and maybe share it with somebody that you think it'll help. Sign up for the email list. I got a free download, 30 days to better doubles. But no matter what you do, I'll see you here in the next video.